Religion is in a state of decline in the modern world. Churches are getting more and more empty in certain parts of the world. So will this development continue and spread to the remaining parts of the world? And will religion at some point completely disappear? And if it does, will we all turn into atheists, or will it be replaced by something else? This video provides you an explanation of why we believe in religions and why this ability is declining. This explanation shows that religion will decline because we get more and more schooled in thinking critically, logically, and we need explanations. This is something religion cannot provide. There is a misfit between what we need and what religion generally can provide us. This video also provides you with an answer to what could take the place of religion. A new view that shows that everything has a meaning, including our life. It is an understanding that we can check with our daily experiences, so we can actually know it and we don't need to rely on an external authority or religion. You might ask if we even need something that replaces religion. Well, not necessarily when life is good and tolerable. But when life becomes painful, where is the meaning of life if you have no deeper or higher meaning to what is going on? And furthermore, what motivates us to do good in life instead of bad if we have no higher meaning? What motivates us to be humane if there is no higher meaning to life? This video is based on the Danish author Martinus, who provides a profound view on religion and how it will evolve. His view is that we will go from a faith-based belief system to a science-based understanding of the meaning of life. We will not just know how things work, as our current science provides, where we'll know the what and how, but we will also have to know why things are what they are. We will get the answer to the why, to the meaning of life. We already know this with a lot of things that come from humans. We know cars are meant to be driven, foods to be eaten, beds to be slept in, and so forth. But what about life in general? Do we know the meaning of that, the intention behind it? Why are we here and what are our purpose? Martinus claims that there is a meaning and a plan to all of it. He provides a logical explanation that we can check with our intelligence and own experiences. It is a worldview that consists of eternal principles and therefore named the eternal world picture. I have used that name for this channel as a reference to Martinus' world picture. If you find topics like this intriguing, please subscribe to the channel to follow future videos. And if you find this video valuable, please like it, really appreciate it. And if you have any comments or questions, please put them below and I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you. So let's get started with why religion is in decline in the first place. In today's world, we get more and more schooled to be able to understand and explain what is going on around us. We are taught in school that we need to be able to explain what and why we are doing something. We need explanation to take part in the more advanced parts in our life. Religion is not explained in a way that we find in these more advanced parts of our life. It is based on authorities who convey the religion, so you have to believe in what the authority says. They do not bring you an explanation. And if you cannot believe the authorities, then you cannot believe the religion. Martinus states that believing is an ability you either have or you don't have. So we need to have this ability to believe in religion. And the decline of religion is basically the decline in this ability. So what is this ability? Martinus explains that believing in a religion is based on what he calls instinct. Instinct is an ability to have an awareness of something. It is not a clear image of what is going on. The trees have an awareness of water, so they grow their roots in the direction of the water, but they don't know clearly about the water. Birds have the same when they fly over long distances. They don't have a map, but they find their way anyway, because they have an awareness of where to go. But they don't know where to go, they just do it. Religion works in a similar way. People have some kind of awareness of a God. This awareness makes them believe, but it does not provide them with a clear explanation and an understanding of what is going on. People who have this instinct or awareness do not need the definition and explanation in the religious area. They are capable of believing based on their instinct. They don't have to have a clear knowledge and explanation of what is going on or where they are flying, so to speak. They are fine with someone or a book that tells them where to go and what to think. Religion is made for instinct and this kind of awareness, so we cannot get explanations and logic as we know it from other areas such as science and more advanced stuff in our society. So why do some people need logic and explanations and start to leave religion? We go to school and universities where we have to apply logic and explanations. This trains our intelligence. Intelligence is also an ability as well as instinct is. Intelligence requires knowledge and understanding. Something that is not based on knowledge is not intelligence, but something else. Therefore, intelligence and instinct do not go together. It's like oil and water. Thus, the ability to believe decline as our intelligence increases. You cannot have the need to blindly, so to speak, believe and understand at the same time. So if you have a lot of intelligence and you try to apply it to religion, it sort of moves your ability to believe. Your instinct moves away. The result of that is that instinct plays a smaller role in our consciousness when intelligence starts to grow. We slowly lose the ability to believe. And that makes religion decline, because it is based on instinct and believing in authorities. The bigger role of intelligence undermines religion. Our intelligence is increasing worldwide with more and more schooling and training. So religion, as we know it, will decline because our intelligence is increasing. That being said, some people can be really intelligent in some areas, but if they are very religious, they are not applying their intelligence on the religious area. They will still be based on instinct if they can go to church and just believe. So it becomes harder and harder to believe in a good and almighty God that has created the world with all the suffering we are experiencing. So what is the alternative? If you can't not believe anymore, then you have to base your life on the facts that you have. The first facts that we get are the materialistic ones, because we can experience the physical world and get our facts from there. We start to trust these facts and leave the religion, and we get a materialistic view and might even become atheists. So the next section of this video goes into why being an atheist is not a solid life foundation in the long run either. It's something we can live with temporarily, but when things get rough, we really need a meaning to life. And the atheist or the materialistic view cannot provide that. A materialistic view is that everything is a result of something material or materialistic. Our consciousness is a product of the materia. A consequence of this is a view that our life starts when we are physically born and stops when we physically die. We have one physical life and that is it. We experience childhood, growing up, being adult, getting old if we are so lucky, and we die and that's it. We come from nothing and we become nothing. But how do we find a deeper meaning to a life in this? How does it help in a personal crisis? If we lose someone, our foundation in life somehow shatters, or whatever hits us. It cannot give meaning to a crisis. It cannot explain bad things. How do you explain that some are born with a great talent, opportunities, great family, and other huge advantages? And other people are born with disadvantages. They might have disabilities, they live in poverty, had parents who treat them really badly, and so forth. And they might not even get that old. How do you explain and make a meaning out of that if we only have one life? And that life starts when we are born and it stops when we die. Is that something you can base your life on the day when things get really tough? I think that this is where atheism meets its limits. It cannot explain the tough parts of our life in a meaningful way. Martinus states that everything has a meaning, and that also applies to materialism as a phenomenon. I will go into an alternative view on the world in the last part of this video, but firstly I will go into the meaning of materialism. Why do we even have materialism? What is the intention behind it? So what is the meaning of materialism? I have made a video about it, so you can look at that as well, but here's the brief summary of it. So firstly, we have to master the materialistic part of the world. Science is already very good at that. But what does materialism really do to us at a personal level? The meaning of materialism is that we should keep looking for meaning in the material part of the world until we realize that that is not where we will find the meaning of life. The meaning of life is not found in the materialistic part of the world. It's a pretty big assertion for now, but that's what Martinus states, and I think he's onto something on that one. So where do we find the meaning of life? The meaning of life is behind the materialistic world. It is what brings it intention, it brings it a plan, it brings it logic to the materialistic world. But that plan, that intention, that living thing that controls things, we know it from ourselves, is behind the materialistic world and expresses itself in the materialistic world. And we know it from ourselves. When we do something with intention and planning, things get a purpose and meaning. The materialistic world has an endless amount of details that we can explore to the point where we find out that we won't find the meaning of life in these kind of details. That is the meaning of materialism. That is why we become materialistic, because that leads us to searching beyond the materialistic part of the world. And so what is the alternative to materialism and religion? Martinus provides a logical and argued solution to the mystery of life. Solution that you can check yourself with your intelligence and your own experiences. It is a view where everything in life has a purpose. There is an intention behind it, and what happens leads to something good. There is a living being behind all of the things that we're experiencing. And we know this living being as God. But it's a well-defined God, so to speak. So we can understand what this living being is and how it's functioning. It can also explain some of life's biggest questions, such as the meaning of suffering. Why do we have suffering? Why do we have unpleasantness in this world? And generally it can explain why things are as they are. This was very briefly what the alternative is, and I've made several videos about the eternal world picture by Martinus, where I go into more topics about his eternal world picture. So why should we believe Martinus? He is not the first one to have found the truth and can explain the meaning of life and so forth. And Martinus states that it is true because he shows that everything is very good. There's a plan to what is happening, and he shows what this plan is. There's a meaning to what is happening, even what we call the good things and the bad things. And it turns out that the bad things are actually with a purpose that actually leads to something good. And without it, we could not really live. So in some ways, it's actually good as well, even though it feels pretty bad. But we need it. We need it for contrast in our lives, basically. And I've made videos about that as well, that you can find in the description. Martinus states that we don't have to believe in what he's saying. You have to understand it. Or at least you have the opportunity to understand it if you want to, and if you meet it with an open mind. The biggest barrier to Martinus' work is probably that we tend to stick to our own convictions, and there are some fundamentally new ways of thinking that can stand in a way of understanding what Martinus is saying. So what about religion? Religion as a faith-based phenomenon will disappear over time due to our increased intelligence that eventually will be a thing in the religious area. This view will eventually take over where religion left. Because it can explain the meaning of life, it can solve the mystery of life. It can explain what religion and materialistic science cannot. This is not to say that there's anything wrong with religion or today's science. They have their purpose and in a way are as important as Martinus' work is. Not everything is perfect in religion and science, but that doesn't change the fact that they have contributed very positively to our world. So in this video, I asserted that there is a science about the meaning of life that will take over where the declining religion will leave us and where the materialistic science of worldview cannot explain. Religion as we know it is outdated for today's modern people and will keep declining until it's not here anymore. There are some assertions about Martinus' world picture in this video, and if you want to know more about that world picture and if you have been intrigued in some ways, please subscribe to the channel to get more videos about Martinus' work. I'll provide more in the future. And leave a comment or question below about what you think about religion and where it will be going in the future. And if you find this video valuable, please give the video a like. Thank you for watching.